Alright, so around that time again, where I'm going to be making a meta units tier list for ALS, with the most recent update being the Quality of Life Part 2 and Bleach update. The rankings in this video are entirely my opinion, so feel free to let me know what you agree or disagree with in the comments down below. These videos do get a lot of hate because people don't agree with me, so if you enjoy or find it helpful, maybe show some love. Anyways, let's get into it. Okay, I've got the list here that we'll be using to rank the units. It's actually going to be my JoJo update tier list already made. I know it's kind of lazy to be using the list that we already used, but we have a lot to talk about with these new Bleach units, so if you want a more detailed explanation on why I put units where they are, please check out my JoJo update tier list video. Anyways, we're going to be using the rankings meta hybrid early, meta ground, meta support, good hybrid, good ground, and good support. So I'm going to be using this tier list. I know it's kind of lazy again. Next video I make for a tier list, I'll probably make an entirely new one from scratch, but yeah, I don't want to waste too much time. I'll make a few changes to it though before we proceed. So I think Diavolo I ranked too high. He was here, but I'm moving him back down to here. And then Giorno I had right about here, I think. I'm moving him way up to here. For Diavolo, I do think Rengoku probably has higher base damage, but I do think Diavolo is still better than Benimaru, the other dark popular starting unit, because Diavolo has the Soul of Inner Potential going for him, which makes his hemorrhage damage a lot higher. You can trust me on that. I do have Avatar on both of them. Diavolo has just been better in my experience. Giorno, I'd say, is actually better than Ulquiorra. I ranked him way lower before because I just kind of overlooked him with that update. I'll completely admit that. That's my bad. But Giorno is actually really good. He does similar damage to Ulquiorra, although he is a little bit cheaper, so I'd say he's better in most game modes. But yeah, I totally overlooked that. I'm sorry for Giorno users who didn't realize he was good or anything like that. Ichibe is the first Bleach unit that we'll get into. Again, we're just going to be working with this tier list. I don't want to make too many changes. We have a lot to talk about. So Ichibe. This guy actually is one of the units that we have nothing to really talk about because he doesn't have anything special about him. As the dev said, with this update releasing, all the units would be meta in their own way with different gimmicks and passives and stuff like that. Ichibe was the unit who did not get one, so he just kind of is a dark damage unit without anything special. I really hope they do end up adding something special for him or just buffing him, but right now, he's just kind of a mid, somewhat cheap-ish, dark hybrid option who doesn't really have anything going for him. So I'd say he's probably like around the same tier as Noelle because she's a water hybrid unit with nothing going for her. Ichibe probably does a lot more damage, but still, I think damage isn't everything in this game, and having nothing but damage is kind of pointless. Real quick, editor me popping in here. At the time I am editing this, yeah, the DPS chart has actually listed that he has Eraser, so I'm not sure what that passive does. The devs haven't really said anything about this at all compared to the other passives, but I'll try and find more about this in like another video or something, and I'll let you guys know. But if this passive is good and he does really good damage on top of that, then he'd probably be either at the bottom of meta hybrid or top of good hybrid. So yeah, if he has a good passive, which I don't know what this does, then I was wrong about ranking him. Otherwise, back to the video. Okay, we've got Kenpachi next, and Kenpachi is actually a very surprisingly good unit. I'd say he is probably the best hybrid starting unit in the game. He's going to cost us 600 to play, so you can throw him down in the first wave, which is really nice. And then if you didn't know, this guy actually has a special passive, which I'll throw on screen. So apart from him doing really good damage, being like maybe top 15-ish in the DPS chart, I think, somewhere around there, he actually has a special passive confirmed by the devs to be every 30 kills he gains extra 30% damage and 15% SPA for 4 seconds, which is not bad at all. I think that's a very good passive, and then his damage is pretty nice on top of that. And he has the Fear passive on placement, which later becomes Hemorrhage, so he kind of does replace Diavolo with the Soul of Inner Potential. Overall, a very good unit, very good early damage, and definitely a very surprising one for the early hybrid meta. Next we've got Gremmy, which is actually a very interesting unit. He does have a 15 bill damage nuke. He does have a few passives at different upgrades. In case Fear first, and then a Detonation, and then nothing. He does have the nuke going for him though, the 15 bill nuke with a 900 second cooldown of 300 seconds in the infinite game mode, which I'd say 15 bill is actually pretty hefty, like very good damage. He's not the only unit with a 15 bill damage nuke, which we'll get into later for this update. But Gremmy, I'd say overall probably like around here in meta hybrid. Very good damage. He actually can do a lot. Rimuru is still pretty good, but Gremmy does a lot more damage with his nuke, and then also Light Element, very nice. Levi, this unit is kind of underwhelming. He was the Infinity Castle unit, and Infinity Castle units are always kind of trash, but Levi, yeah, no different. He's kind of mid. He does have Bleed on placement. He is a fairly cheap, I think it was 600 or 650 to place nature unit, and he is hybrid. Just doesn't really like get any better than on placement. I don't know, for starting out players, he can be a good hybrid option, for sure, but I do think in later waves, he just kind of falls off. There aren't many like good things about him, really. I'd say maybe like about here on the tier list. I could be completely wrong. I don't use this unit enough to like rank him properly. but yeah, I don't think he's very good. I'd much prefer any other meta early hybrid units here. Captain Commander Kai, so moving on to Yamamoto. I actually was wrong in my showcase video about this guy. I didn't know if he had a special passive or not. He does, so I'll throw it on screen. Passive on placement works like Dio overwrites, but with lower cooldown. So what that means is pretty much he has the summon effect like Dio, where every enemy he kills has a chance to be resummoned. It does have cooldown though, which is lower than Dio, so it's very nice. Actually, I don't think it's a chance, it's a guaranteed summon, it just has a cooldown. So yeah, everything he kills will turn into like a little skeleton summon thing and do extra damage for him. On top of that, he's going to be a pretty small AoE, but full AoE burn unit with pretty good damage. So I'd say overall, definitely in meta hybrid somewhere, maybe like about here-ish. Don't get too mad at me if I rank him above your favorite unit or something, but maybe about here in meta hybrid. Also sorry for his icon being a little bit scuffed, there isn't anything on the wiki yet. But yeah, Yamamoto is really good damage, and a beast summoning passive. Ichigo, okay, another unit where, like Ichibei, they forgot to give him a passive, I guess. So, pretty unlucky here. Ichigo is actually not very good. I know a lot of people were sad that Ichigo, the previous Hollow form, didn't get an evolution. I'm actually happy about that. Ichigo Hollow form is probably better than this one. Even though, let's talk about it now. Ichigo definitely has some really high damage. I think he is maybe the either third or fifth highest damage in the game right now. Very nice. I think it's fifth. It can't be third. Fifth or sixth, something around there. But he doesn't have anything else. And I'm somebody that really values like supporting capabilities. So especially as a light element unit, we've got units like Dio with the 3 passives and a time stop. We've got Pucci with a rewind ability and the stun passive. Gojo with a couple passives and a couple abilities. Odera. Like, there's so many other options for light units with good damage and good supporting capabilities, and Ichigo is just a small circle AoE, high single target damage light unit. Nothing special about him, honestly, pretty underwhelming. And I'd say if you need really good damage, then sure, he's okay. Other than that, I'd say just good hybrid. Whoa, what did I just do? Hold up, forget that. Other than that, just good hybrid, I'd say like maybe about here-ish? Probably like here. Yeah, definitely better than her. But overall, maybe even here actually. Nothing special about him, so nothing too crazy, but he's alright. Quincy King, another special one that I will talk about for a little bit. So this guy is not only full AoE with an electrified passive on final upgrade, he has a special passive, which is really nice. I like how they did this. From placement, he'll have a damage boost ability, which maxes out at 10%, so pretty nice. He can boost his units around him for 10% extra damage, and on top of this, he has another 15 or 16 billion damage nuke, so kind of like Remy. Very good support unit for sure. I'd say meta support, and honestly, not just a support, like, I'm gonna separate them from the farms real quick. These are 2 farms that, of course, you want to have a farm on your team. But other than just being a meta support, I'd say also in the meta hybrid category, probably like around here. So either or, meta hybrid or meta support. I'm not gonna put 2 of them on the list though, so it's up to you if you want them to be here or here. But for sure, really meta unit. He is very good for support. 10% extra damage and a nuke and electrified full AoE is just crazy. And yeah, amazing unit for sure. Probably the best of the update in my opinion. Next we've got Urahana. Urahana's kind of in a weird spot. Kisuke, Urahara. I don't know. This unit, like, his damage is kind of mid. That's why I'd say he's in a weird spot. But he has a very valuable ability, and that is going to be blocking the base for 8 enemies, which can be really good. So a lot of people may undervalue that, like, oh, only 8 enemies can be blocked. After that, the ability is pretty much useless. But blocking 8 enemies can make a huge difference in the infinite game mode. If you're going for leaderboard, blocking 8 bosses entirely can be huge. Like, that is insanely valuable, and then the cooldown on it wasn't too long if I remember. Like, I don't think it was above 1,000 seconds, if anything. I'll have to brush up on that. Might have been because I was at 3x speed. But overall, very solid unit. His damage is not too good, but everything else about him is okay. His ability is really good. Everything else about him is okay. Like, he has okay damage, he's full AoE, he is hybrid, and then he has that ability, which is really nice. I'd say overall a meta support unit for sure. And that pretty much wraps up the Bleach tier list. Anyways, I think I have the final list here. There are probably a couple things I would change as far as like units that shouldn't be on here anymore because they fell out of meta. But yeah, I didn't want to waste too much time. I will be making an entirely new tier list probably next video I have to do about one of these. But I just used the tier list from the JoJo update, as lazy as it is for now. I wanted to go in detail about the new units with their special passives and stuff because they are actually very unique. I wanted to make sure people knew about them. But anyways, yeah, this is the final list. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Again, this is entirely my opinion, so yeah, don't think this is like the universal truth where if I say this unit is good, you should invest in him. If I say a unit is bad, you shouldn't invest in him. Overall, it is entirely my opinion from my experience playing the game, but I do think it's pretty accurate, like just stat-wise, objectively. Again, though, I'm entirely my opinion. I could be completely wrong about a lot of things, so feel free to let me know in the comments, but don't go too hard on the hate, okay? Anyways, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed or found it helpful. Hope to see you in the next one, and have a great day.